Lesson 149. Okay, Antonio, in the last lesson, we learned that we can use the preposition a to really clarify things, and it helps us to specify exactly who is doing the liking in a sentence that uses a me gusta type of structure. We learned how to say things like a papa, a mama, things of that nature. But we also need to learn how to use the preposition a with pronouns. Isn't that true?
We will have to do that, yes.
Okay. Why don't you take us through this first example here and explain to us what exactly is happening here?
A él le gusta la comida. A él means to him. Le gusta is again to him is pleasing la comida, the food. So in this case, a él le gusta la comida would literally be translated into English as to him is pleasing the food.
So again, there's that sense of redundancy. It's like you're saying the same thing twice. And it's like you're repeating yourself.
But in this case, you're being more specific, and you need to do it in order to be able to be more clear.
Okay, now this word el, it's the same word that means he, right? It's got the accent mark over the E. And then I'm noticing that ella is also here. So if we wanted to say to her is pleasing blah, 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 we would say a ella, right?
That's correct.
In fact, we have all the different forms here down in this chart. Why don't you take us through this chart here and tell us what each of these forms is going to do for us?
First person singular, a mí, which means to me. Second person singular, a ti, which means to you. Third person singular, a él, which means to him. A ella, which means to her, or to it.
So when you say it means to it, that would mean some inanimate object that has a gender. Like if you had a car that runs better in cold weather, you could say the car likes the cold weather, right? And that car, carro, has male gender. So you would say a él, because it's a masculine word.
Exactly.
But we would translate it as it, because it's an inanimate object.
That's correct, Bill.
Okay.
Then we have a usted, which is to you, but in a formal way.
Because usted is that special title of respect.
Then we have first person plural, a nosotros or a nosotras. That just means to us. Second person plural, a vosotros or a vosotras, which means to y'all, but in Spain only. Then third person plural, a ellos or a ellas, which means to them. Or a ustedes, which means to y'all, only in the Americans, for everyone, or in Spain if it's formal speech.
Okay, Antonio, to fully make use of these forms, we need to put them in conjunction with the other indirect object pronouns that we learned in lesson 146, the lesson with the title, To Whom Is It Pleasing? So let's try that. Let's give our listeners a little bit of help with that right now. Like, for instance, in the first person singular, we would say a mí as our clarifying pronoun, right? And then we would say me gusta la playa. So literally we would say to me is pleasing the beach. Okay, that's pretty easy. I think our listeners can probably grasp that fairly easily. But in the second person singular, let's figure this out. We'd have to say a ti at the beginning, which means to you. And then we would have to say te gusta, right?
That's correct.
So we would say a ti te gusta la playa. And that would say you like the beach. Or literally, to you is pleasing the beach. But in good English, it would say you like the beach. Third person singular, a él le gusta la playa. To him is pleasing the beach. And then If you wanted to say she likes the beach, we would say a ella le gusta la playa. And then if you wanted to speak formally, you would say a usted le gusta la playa. And that would have a third person construction, but it would really be second person. It would be like saying you like the beach. First person plural, you would say a nosotros nos gusta la playa. Second person plural, a vosotros os gusta la playa. And then third person plural, a ellos les gusta la playa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have to combine what we're learning in this lesson with the things we learned in lesson 146.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Bill, let's go back to the first person singular, for example. A mí me gusta la playa. That really just means I like the beach. But back in 146, we said that by just saying me gusta la playa, that also means I like the beach. So why then include this a mí? Again, to be more specific, just saying me gusta la playa, yeah, it does mean I like the beach. But that is if it's clear within the context, who is it we're talking about? By putting the a mí in front of me gusta, then we're just being more specific. Context will not be as important anymore. You can just start a conversation by just saying, a mí me gusta la playa, and just by saying it like that, right there is very clear who is it you're talking about. So that is the difference. Context is not that important. You have to include the a mí in front of it. When you are already clear who is it you're talking about, when context really is relevant, then it's not that important to say the a mí in front of it.
And that's why in our book, we're calling these things clarifying pronouns, because they sort of clarify exactly who is liking something, right?
Mm-hmm. That is it.
So, Antonio, there's really no limit to all the different things you can use the preposition a with for clarifying this type of sentence. You could use it with a proper name. If I wanted to say Antonio likes the beach, I could say a Antonio le gusta la playa, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. So instead of using a pronoun, as we are learning in this lesson, we just substitute that pronoun with the real name. So instead of saying a él le gusta la playa, you just say a Antonio le gusta la playa.
So you could really use it with anything.
You could use it with anything.
Okay, let's take a look at our exercises together. In number 1, the subject of the sentence is la comida. That's the food. Gusta is the verb. So the food is pleasing. Me means to me. And then we have a clarifying pronoun a. And so a mí means to me. So literally, this sentence might say something like this. The food is pleasing to me, to me. It's like you're saying to me twice. But in Spanish, what that does is it clarifies exactly who likes the thing, okay? So the way we'll really translate number 1 is, I like the food. In number 2, los perros, that's the subject of the sentence, that's the dogs. The verb is gustan. So what we have so far is the dogs are pleasing. Te means to you, and then a is a clarifying pronoun. A ti means to you. So literally, this sentence might say something like, the dogs are pleasing to you, to you. But the way we'll really translate it is, you like dogs. And notice how in our English translation, we left out the word the in front of dogs. We just wanted to make a general statement. And this type of statement, in Spanish, you would use los, you would use that definite article, but in English, we would not. So there's an example of a time when you would use an article in Spanish, but not in English. In number 3, the subject of the sentence is la playa, that's the beach. The verb here is gusta, that's third person singular. So la playa gusta will say the beach is pleasing. Le means to him, to her, or to it. And then we have a clarifying pronoun, a. A usted is a formal way to say to you. So number 3 contains formal speech. We're using third person language to speak to someone formally in the second person. And since we're saying a usted, we need le there, as our third person pronoun. So literally, number 3 might say, the beach is pleasing to you, in a formal way. But what we'll really say is, you like the beach. In number 4, el restaurante is the subject of the sentence. The verb is gusta. So far we have the restaurant is pleasing. Le means to him, to her, or to it. And then we have the clarifying pronoun a, saying a ella, to her. So literally, number 4 might say, the restaurant is pleasing to her, But what we'll really say is, she likes the restaurant. In number 5, los gatos is the subject of the sentence. That means the cats, or just cats, if we left out the. Gustan is the verb. So what we have is, the cats are pleasing, and then nos means to us, and then a nosotros is a clarifying agent in the sentence. That means to us also. So literally, number 5 might say, the cats are pleasing to us, So in our English translation, we'll leave out the word the in front of cats, and we'll make a general statement. We'll say, we like cats. In number 6, mi carro is the subject. That means my car. Gusta is the verb. So literally, mi carro and gusta together will say, my car is pleasing. In this sentence, we're using the term ustedes to address multiple people. So we have les as a third person pronoun, but it's really going to function as second person because this is the way we're going to address people. So mi carro no gusta les will say, my car is not pleasing to y'all. And then we have a ustedes, which also means to y'all. That's the clarifying pronoun. So literally, my car is not pleasing to y'all, Or the real translation would be, y'all do not like my car. In number 7, el centro comercial, the mall, that's the subject of the sentence. Gusta is the verb, and les means to them. So far, literally, we have the mall is pleasing to them, and then we have our clarifying pronoun a with the word ellos. So a ellos means to them. So a very literal rendering of this sentence might say, the mall is pleasing to them, But what it's really saying is they like the mall. In number 8, mi padre está means my father is. Haciendo means making. Su means his, and almuerzo means lunch. So number 8 says, my father is making his lunch. In number 9, hay means there is or there are. Un gato is a cat. En mi habitación means in my bedroom. So what we have so far is, there is a cat in my bedroom. Y means and then we have the verb está. That means is, and the subject of that verb is the cat. So here we'll say the cat is, and then durmiendo, sleeping, en mi cama, on my bed. So number 9 will say, there is a cat in my bedroom, and he is sleeping on my bed. As you can see in our answer key, we have, it is sleeping on my bed. I guess this all depends on if you know the gender of the cat or not. In number 10, mi padre means my father. The verb here is hace. That's third person singular and goes with mi padre. It could mean do or make. Su trabajo is his job or his work. Todos los días means every day. So number 10 says, my father does his job every day, or my father does his work every day. It could mean either of those.